Greetings adventures and foodies. Today we're cracking directly into a tier list that you know what it is and everyone loves it, and there's a tier list for almost anything by these times and days. So yeah, I thought why not make one for the convenience. Tab in the Ascension Store. Please note that anything bought in that tab can almost always be bought with gold, for exception of a few things that I'm gonna mention as we talk about them. And then I'm gonna make a specific shelf for the packs that you can buy on the Ascension Store. These are not buyable with gold in game, but anything that is included in these packs can often be bought with gold. So before we get cracking with it, quickly check out my community post. I'm gonna show it on the screen right about now, and go cast your vote for what you want to see next. I'm closing the poll in around 24 hours of time of recording, and that's by tomorrow morning at 13 o'clock. So let's get cracking. First of all, here I'm gonna put all these DP packs up in the top shelf and packs. The reason why I'm doing this is because these are not buyable with gold. First of all, you have to get the DP, and I still strongly recommend, if you are starting a new season or a new league, getting one of these 50, 100 and 150 if you're a returning player with vanity items already. Get one of these for the vanity sync. If you're a new player, forget what vanity sync is, just listen out. These are the go-to packs for you to have because they give you so much. They give you different specialization, and if you're a World of Warcraft fan and know what dual spec is, this is kind of what Tome of Specialization is. Other than that, they give you bigger bags, they give you flight paths unlocks and anything like that. So extra Hearthstone to use for the capital cities and whatnot. So they're really nice value, and each and every upgrade of course includes more, and of course there's some cosmetics and everything alike in it. The largest packs of course include a ton of things that I'm not gonna cover, but I believe from the they all cover the mount also, so yeah, go get them if you're a brand new player. Then we're going straight into the Stoner's Retreat, and I'm gonna put them in a high A tier, as grabbing one of these can actually be very beneficial for you. If you don't have a TP for Light's Hope Chapel, that's a very long way, or you want to get to the west coast of Azeroth really quickly, well, these Stone of Retreats are for you, and they save you a ton of travel time. So really worth snacking. If there's some places you go often, get one of these whenever they're on sale, and also get one for things like Shatrath for when TBC is out. Moving on to the portable coldboard quest, I'm gonna put it below the Stoner's Retreat, but in the A tier, as it's something I use not every time I log on, but almost every time, as it's basically a portable quest that you can spawn in the open world, where you can go over, complete a daily quest in a specific area, and then you can use this to summon a coldboard, complete your quest, and pick up the quest again if you accumulated more than 2 or 3 of these coldboard quests, and they stack up to 7. So yeah, that's my take on it. The Battlehorn, we're gonna give it a B tier. I use it occasionally as a DPSer. I use it quite often as tank, but I rarely use it as a healer, and if I don't use it on every specialization, I cannot give it an S tier. So for the heirlooms, I'm gonna give them a low C tier because I wouldn't spend too many DP on them, and that's basically because you can get them by getting Token of Prestige, Mark of Ascension, and just getting the heirlooms that way. So I wouldn't be spending too many of my DPs, as there are so many other things that can be bought before that. But of course, if you bought anything in the above tiers and you don't feel like any of the other things from C or D tier are there, by all means go get heirlooms. Moving on to the Gnomish Portable Transpolyporter. That's a difficult word to say. But basically, it's as it states, it's very hard for you guys to see, but it states red, white, hard stone, and it is what it is. You plant it down, everybody can go click it, and they use free hardstone basically. I'm gonna put it in D tier as 9 out of 10 time when you're raiding. You will already have your hardstone of cooldown, or you already have a stone of treat on cooldown, or you can go into a portal that some guy made. So yeah. The chef hats I'm gonna put at a low C tier because I don't find them that useful. It saves a bit of time, okay, yeah, but when 9 out of 10 people in the need of making that much in one profession, but it takes up so many hours that you need this to cook down for speed. If you don't need anything else, of course you can get them, then they're nice. If you're gonna smelt 1,000 ores into bars or anything like, yes, but other than that, nah, I don't see the big use for them. So moving on to the feather, I'm gonna put this in a high A tier, just below, if I can make it, there we go. The Stone of Retreats, as these flight paths basically gonna enable you to fly to left and right and anything. Actually, we're going to put it above the Stone of Retreats. There we go. As you can basically click this once and snap your fingers and you can fly anywhere in Azeroth. So, it's just nice. You don't have to visit to go there. The travel permit. Choose a starting zone. High B tier. I'm not going to put it in the A because it's not something I use every time I prestige. It's something I would use if I prestige a lot with a specific group, or if I did a lot of group prestiging and I could teleport to places like Ratchet, or if I could teleport to the human starter or the orc starter zone or the Tauren if I were fanatic about that, if I'm that kind of type guy. But yeah, other than that, I don't really see the use. Any starter zone is fine. You can complete it in like 20 minutes max. So yeah, the postal tube is gonna get a high C tier because it's something I use occasionally, but it's not something I use like more than once or twice every 14 days or something. So it's not that big. Good transfigurator. We can not put it in the S tier. It's clearly S. Like, who doesn't want a kitty, a small key facade, anything like that, running around and just picking up your loot. Period. This is probably the only thing that's objectively an S tier. So yeah, you're welcome. Moving on to the loot bot. I'm gonna put this in S tier, as regardless of I'm healer, I'm tank, or I'm DPS, I'm using the loot bot. And of course, it kind of goes well with the loot transfigurator 5000. So if you don't know what this is basically a thing that transforms any of your pets into this little guy. So yeah, moving on. The Greedy Demon Portable Field Communication, I'm giving it a low B tier. I'm very sorry for all the high-risk people watching this and all the fans for that. The reason being, as I personally barely use it, and for any league season starts, I would almost never use it. Besides that, I would always prepare from a capital city where there's always one, and I would often not use this in any circumstances. So yeah, perhaps it's just my noobness for the entire part called PvP and the high risk. So moving on, personal bank vault. It's something I use often, not always, but I'm just gonna smack it here in the high A. It's a personal bank vault. It's not something I use on every day, but like every second or every third time I log on, I probably have this open in some way. The good thing about the personal bank vault compared to the realm-wide, let's just take that. I'm gonna put this as a just below it, is because this is an extra space for you to store soulbound items in. So any of your excess tier gear that you want to save for later use, but you can't really have any space for it, you can't put it in the realm wide, and your normal banking is full, well, then you have the personal bank where you can put your soulbound items into. Compared to the realm wide bank that we're putting right below, it's a place where you can put stuff like tradable items in, not non-tradable, but you can put tradable items in there, as in things that are not soulbound, and this is useful for transferring things like heirloom vanity items with Crusader for weapons, etc. 100 plus health, vanity, chest, body armor, stuff like that. So yeah. The treasure keeper, I'm gonna put it up here as a S tier. Also, probably gonna put it above these two, as I'm using my treasure keeper a lot more than I use my loot bot actually. Then moving on to an actual consumable here. Also, oh, I forgot to mention the Azeroth feather is also a consumable. Yeah, that's kind of nice to know. You don't get to use it several times, but it's consumable for the league that or season that you're in. So moving on to the tradesman scroll here. The tradesman scroll is a consumable that lets you max out a profession going from level 1 till 300. So basically what it means is you can get from level 1 enchanting till level 300 enchanting or engineering in one click of you, actually. But yeah, you get what I mean. It's extremely nice little thing here to have, but I'm gonna rank it as a B tier, as it is a consumable and it's something that you could do in other ways. Other than that, it's quite expensive, and for the gold that you can normally get this for on the auction house, you can do it for the same price yourself, and sometimes even cheaper. So that's to keep in mind. Any of the things here, of course, remember you can get them off the auction house. You don't have to buy them on the Ascension Store for the donation points. Moving on to the ornate bank voucher. Bank slots here. It's something I would use any league start, almost always. We're probably gonna put it right next to the Azeroth, and that's the reason I would use this as probably now. We're gonna put it in S tier because I'm using this every season, and 9 out of 10 times it's cheaper than actually maxing out the bank slots one by one. So it does that so that every little bank slot that you normally have is unlocked. So where you have to buy those 5 silver, 25 silver, 1 gold, 5 gold, 10 gold, 50, and so on, for all the bank slots where you can put extra backs in, extra space. This is kind of the thing that alleviates it and just make all the bank slots available so you can fill them up with your pumpkin bags and whatnot you win in raids or travelers backpacks. This is extremely nice after they made the change where you can swap in and out gear from your bank itself. So that's where the portable bank also get really useful, that you can suddenly swap your gear with what's in your bank with your gear sets. So yeah, that's really useful in many cases, and if you have like 5 or 6 specs that you're running, then it gets even better. Trust me on that one. Moving on to the the raid markers bundle. I'm gonna give this a low D tier. I never used it. I never seen a single person use it. But if you're raiding high mythic content, you most likely have it if you're a high mythic rating guild or anything like. Yeah, then I suggest getting it for as a raid leader or anything like it. Other than that, no, I would not. I'm just unsure if you can buy this on the auction house or if it's a consumable or whatnot, because I've never personally used it, so I don't know. But if anyone can tell me in the comments, that would be great to both help me and your fellow watchers. So moving on to Flightmaster's Whistle. It's basically a CD in my opinion, as it basically lets you hardstone to the nearest Flightmaster. In open world case, I guess it could go above the chef hat here, but I've barely seen any use for it ever. The friend and moneymaker number 1 this season is Coxley. Gonna put an S here, and basically it allows you to sell and repair in the midst of a Mana Storm run. So this is just pure gold making pet, period. Combine this with the loot bot in a say you get into Stratholme, etc., then you can use the loot bot to run around in a low tier Mana Storm, Stratholme, clear everything and just pick up all the items, and whenever you're done you have cleared the entire dungeon from all the both the living and the dead side. Then you have service entrance and the living side. Is that what they call? I can't remember. But basically you will be earning just from the raw drops alone like 120 gold from one run, and then there's of course all the somewhat 200 to 300 rune cloth you're getting and crusader orbs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, lootbot plus Coxley in the Stratholme, just fish for those level 1 till 10 Stratholme Mana Storms, and you can earn big bucks in like 15 minutes. So yeah, you're welcome. Fixatron, we're moving into a high B tier, I'd say. It's nice to have, but it only repairs your armor. It's good to have for one guy in the raid, but if one has it, then 2 gets absolute, basically. Moving on to a Wondrous Wisdom Ball. It's so fantastic as I use it almost all the time when I'm doing dungeons and leveling, and I've used it so much, and it's been probably one of the best things I've ever gotten in a previous season, next to things like loot bot and portable bank. So yeah, getting this just helps a lot. It's basically so you can go into a dungeon, random dungeon finder, and you can just click this guy, this pet, and it will summon a little ball with Khadgar's head, and you can click on it and it have all the quests for the relevant dungeon that you get in, that you are available to pick up. So moving on to a Silas, we're gonna put let's put him a high B tier, I guess here. There we go. It's something that I would use away from the main of the street, or if I'm out in the open world and just looted a bunch of gold or anything like it, or if I'm questing in the open world and dinging level 60 in the open world, I would use Silas to just get my stuff, basically. So that's the only reason, because 9 out of 10 times when I ding level 60, I will just hardstone back to Orgrimmar or Stormwind, wherever race I'm playing that season, and just go visit this Silas. It's like 30 meters away from my Hearthstone. So yeah, I can only give this a B tier, but if you snag it off on a sale, or if you get it cheap on the auction house, I guess it's worth it. So moving on to the Mystic Enchantment Specialization, another consumable, and I'm gonna put it in a B tier. Is kind of like one of those where if you have a lot of tome of specializations unlocked and you have a lot of mystic enchanting specialization unlocked, they can kind of go in pairs. So this is like a dual spec but for your mystic enchanting section. So it can be quite useful if it's in previous seasons and also in this season especially also, but yeah, we're gonna put it in a BTS. It's not something I would spend too many DPs on, and I'd rather just farm the Mystic Orbs, and I'm just gonna quickly show this here. I have 11,200 Mystic Orbs, and I have 25,000 Mystic Runes and 108 Mystic Extracts. So, yeah. As you can see, I have. If I have a need to reroll, I couldn't care less about it. So, getting more of these is kind of a low, as you get just showered with the orbs and everything normally. Sanguine Workbench, we're gonna put it just below the portable fell communication table, as this allows you to kind of like what can you say? It allows you to make craftable materials of the high risk materials that you find. Exact knowledge, I'd probably say go watch a guide or go read on the Ascension wiki on how to do it. That's my take on it. But basically any of the blood stuff that you find while out in the open or anything like it, you can craft those over to actual craftable material of it, plates, fell armor plates or whatnot you can get. I'm not very knowledgeable on that part, so if any expert can elaborate on that in the comments, that would be absolute fantastic. Poster check, we know it. You gotta have that straight back, so be a real chat and get it up and don't be a loser and have the Quasimodo back. So, moving on to the thermal anvil. We're gonna put this down here, as it's basically only applicable if you have mining, blacksmithing, or engineering. So, actually, we're gonna put it down here. There. Yeah. It's something that's nice if you're mining a lot, if that's one of your gold making strategies by mining. Yeah, then it's very nice to have. Other than that, nah, I wouldn't say so. Moving on to the Potion of Experience. I'm gonna give this a high A tier, as it's something that could, if you have a few DPs laying around, they only cost 1. Or if you buy them on the auction house, of course, I would always suggest you get at least Potion of Experience. So actually, let's move it up to the S tier here. Whenever you prestige, I would always suggest you get Potion of Experience. At least a couple if you're not running with the Aura that we're gonna cover next. But other than that, it's gonna be a long road till level 60. Other than that, we are with the Aura of Experience that I just pulled up. I'm gonna give it an A tier, as it's very, very nice to have, but it's also a very, very expensive thing right now to buy on the auction house. But other than that, it's just amazing to level. But I would always suggest you go as a group of 5 with this and split the cost of the Aura of Experience. So instead of it costing, well, in this case 10 DP if you buy it on the store, sometimes they're actually on sale, by the way. But other than that, you can get them for like what, 1,000 or 1,500, crazy amount right now on the auction house. So yeah, getting a group of 5 is very, very suggestible for this case. Moving to the Mystic Enchanting Altar. Well, I'm gonna give this a extremely high A tier, as if there is not one in your backpack, well, 9 out of 10 times there is one in the capital city. someplace, somewhere. And if you just ask for it, 8 out of 10 times, some random dude's just gonna summon it for you. In the middle, if you stand in front of the auction house in Stormwind or Orgrimmar and you ask for any altar, just altar question mark anyone, then there's someone 9 out of 10 times that's gonna summon it, because often there's this big one, but if it's not, people can just summon their own. But if you don't have it, I'd also just suggest getting one, because if you need to swap runes in start of a dungeon, or if you need to swap your runes whenever you prestige and you've forgotten it, so you don't have to like go all the way back to the capital and then go all the way to the starting zone, well, then you can just use this instead and just swap out your mystic enchants on the spot. So yeah, that's why we're giving it a very high A tier, as swapping runes is something that I personally forget every time. Moving on to the, let's just move those two together, of course, to the Aura of Reputation and the Potion of Reputation. I'd state that both of these are actually kind of valuable if you're going into TBC, but before TBC, they're not. So we're gonna give these a C tier. Perhaps for also group they're nice, but other than that, well, they're kind of like you really don't need them. Like for real classic, they're kind of like irrelevant, basically. Only if you want to get your reputation up with the Orgrimmar or anything like that, well then of course yes, they're quite nice to get that, but other than that, no, I wouldn't go for it. Of course, if you want to deliver a ton of rune cloth and just spike your reputation up with one faction, then they're really good, but other than that, no, I wouldn't go about getting those. Moving to the Book of Artisans, I'm gonna move it to a low A tier here, and the reason being is it's basically a book that allows you to learn any of the profession and any of the non-droppable learning scrolls for the profession. So anything that a trainer can learn you, this book can learn you. For all the kind of stuff like first aid or blacksmithing, engineering, mining, tailoring, enchanting, anything like it. So that's quite nice if you want to go a little bit into profession, then this is fantastic. I personally always use this in a start and save all the linen, silk, mage weave, anything I find, because any time that I play, there's always at some point gonna be a daily quest for rune cloth or mage weave cloth or mage weave bandage or heavy linen bandage or anything like it, and yeah, just leveling up your first aid take like 10-15 minutes, and it goes so fast and requires so little of clothes, and yeah, that's just my suggestion to always have that up as the core board quest for the profession. 9 out of 10 times in a week you will see one of those quests. So that's my suggestion. The Book of Ascension is gonna be put in a top tier in the S here, just below the loot bot. Basically, it's gonna be one of those that's so nice whenever you are re-rolling your spells, or you have to in the open where you're leveling up, you can just use this to learn all your spells and the new ranks and everything. And especially this season, when we're rolling all your spells over and over and over again until you have your dream build, well, this can alleviate the pressure of going back into the city and finding the Book of Ascension next to Silas or anything like it, so you can just do it wherever you stand. This is just a quality of life, and any of the packs up here included all these packs include a lot of the things I mentioned so far, but this one in particular is just one of the biggest quality of lives that you can get. The Craftsman's Codex. I'm gonna put it below the Tradesman's Scroll because if you haven't maxed out your profession, then there's no need to get this. The Craftsman's Codex is a thing that allows you to get an extra primary profession. An extra primary profession basically means a primary profession that's tailoring, leatherworking, skinning, mining, herbalism, enchanting, alchemist. Basically, with this, you can get everything. So if you both want mining and herbalism and skinning, then you can get all three. One of these allows one use, and one use allows you to get one more maximum primary profession. So basically, you will have to use like whatever 8 or something primary profession, 10 or something. So you would have to use this X like 7 or 8 times or something like that. Recruit a friend. If you have somebody you're playing with or occasionally play with, like I am, you can use this to get first of all a 2-seed amount, which is very nice. So we're gonna put it up here. So if you have anyone to play with, this is so nice. Other than that, as it states, it gives experience bonus. So if you play with your mate, you almost get an aura of experience. So it's almost more worth it to get this if you have a mate that you're playing with occasionally than getting a aura of experience 2 times. Then I would go with the recruit a friend always. So if you have a guildie that in the start of your server you plan playing a lot with, or you played a lot with the guildie last season and you're like, hey, let's play again a ton this season, and then I would suggest you getting one of these basically. And now for the crown of the jewel, the last one, the vanity sink. If you're a returning player, we're just gonna put this here. And 9 out of 10 times everyone knows why, because if you're a returning player and you've played previous seasons, if you use the vanity sink, any of all of these items that's not a consumable will be unlocked. So you use vanity sink and your portable, your loot bot, your book, your coxley wisdom bow, your mystic enchanting, your not bank walls, those consumables, but the stone of retreat, cold boards, book of artisans, fixatrons, Silas horn, portable, yada yada yada. They get unlocked by the vanity sink, and that's also why I stress about getting these packs, because they just collect all of these packs basically, except for the 15 part, have the vanity in it already. So by getting this, you get both the vanity sink, and other than the that one, you're getting stuff like Book of Ascension, Book of Artisan, writing tome skills and everything. And personally, I know this is a hot take as these cost money. Yes, I know. But personally, I just find these are so much worth it in a season or league start scenario. So with that, that's my tier list, and it took longer than I actually thought it would to get through it all. So I really hope that you liked it, and until next time, remember to go in and vote for the poll that I made, and until then, stay legendary.